What is up, YouTube? Case was Primary back at you with yet another video. Another hockey-themed video, because I know I've recently made a video about my retirement from jersey collecting. I may be coming out of it, I'm not 100% sure. All depends on what I can do. But anyway, I am here to do what I think is probably the first video about this particular topic on YouTube. I am basically giving you guys a video breakdown of this year's 2017 Stanley Cup Championship rings. I'm going to tell you what is the same from last year's rings to this year's, and what is different about them. So, for those of you guys who may or may not know, the Pittsburgh Penguins received their 2017 Stanley Cup Championship rings this year. In fact, I have put a picture of said rings as the thumbnail of this video. That way you get a general idea of what they look like. And for those of you who just jumped on the Pittsburgh bandwagon and don't know what last year's rings look like, here's a replica that I got for Christmas last year. It's not a perfect replica, but it's what you get for 30 bucks. Now, there are some noticeable differences between, or some similarities and some differences between the two rings. Let me start off with their similarities. Much like last year's ring, the logo is front and center. It has the word Stanley Cup Champions on the front, written in gold. On one side, you have all the previous championships, along with the current championship year, which is 2017. And on the other side, you have the player's name and number, which, if you end up buying a replica, you're most likely going to end up getting Sidney Crosby. Which is pretty much a common thing, that when you get replica championship rings, you're most likely going to get it with their most popular player. That's what happened last year. The most common one was Sidney Crosby. The rare ones you could find was Evander Malkin and Marc-Andre Fleury, but most likely you're going to end up with Sidney Crosby. And it also had some engraving on the inside, but this ring does not have that. It had the team's motto, as well as all 4 playoff scores. Now that I told you what's similar about the rings, let me get into what's different. Like I said, here's last year's ring. A general idea of what it looks like. It's not a perfect replica, because the actual ring from last year was circular, much like Chicago's from 2015. This one's kind of squarish. I guess it's what you get when you buy it from Canada. But the actual ring was circular. In fact, like I said, it looked almost identical to Chicago's from last year. Another difference is in the logo. While it does have the triangle and the word Stanley Cup Champions written in gold, the Penguin is not the color black. The Penguin, for some reason, is colored silver. I don't know why they chose to color it silver, kind of like they did with Chicago's ring for 2010, 13, and 15. They didn't color the logo, they've kept it silver. But they've chosen to keep it silver. Also, the eye of the Penguin, it doesn't have the actual eye. Instead of having the eye in the Penguin's logo, it has the number 5, to indicate 5 current Stanley Cup championships. On the side with the previous championships, it has been updated for all 5 championships in 91, 92, 09, 16, and of course 17. On the side with the player's name and number, it has the 2 Stanley Cups next to it, along with the words back-to-back, and it has the player's name and number. And like I said, for the purpose of the picture, it has Sidney Crosby. Like I said, with replicas, you might be able to get them some other way, with other players, but you're probably going to most likely end up with Sidney Crosby. And of course, like last year's ring, it does have engraving on the inside. Let me just pull up my picture here for reference of the actual ring. On the left side, it says, play the right way. And on the right side, it has all 4 playoff opponents, which was Columbus, Washington, Ottawa, and Nashville, as well as the scores of how many games it took them to beat them. Which last year's ring had as well. It had the team's motto, as well as the playoff scores. So those are the differences, as well as the similarities. You're probably wondering, what do I think about it? Well, I like this one. I love how it's got the logo in full color. It's going to take me some while to adjust to the all silver. But we haven't gotten a back-to-back championship since 97 to 98. Then that was done by the Detroit Red Wings. So usually when teams repeat championships, they sometimes like to repeat the style of championship rings as well. Like Detroit's rings for 97 and 98 looked a little similar to each other. So I'm kind of not surprised that they repeated the look for the ring. But I do wish they could have come up with something a little bit more original. You know, I understand they're trying to say, hey, it's back-to-back, so let's make the rings similar. But, you know, what can you do? I like the new ring. I will probably get a replica of it. You know, probably for Christmas or something. But it's a nice looking ring. What more can I say? So that's just my quick video breakdown of the differences between the two rings. If you hadn't seen what last year's ring looked like and you want to know the significance of this year's ring. So, yeah, I guess that's about it. Later, guys. I am out of here.